You are listening to the Brain-Based Weight Loss Podcast. This is where you stop fighting your brain and start working with it so that weight loss can finally feel simple, sustainable, and eventually effortless. Hi guys, welcome to episode 1 of the Brain-Based Weight Loss Podcast. I'm your host, certified life and weight loss coach, Dori Sharvit. This is our very first episode, which is so exciting. This podcast is meant to give you a completely different approach to weight loss so that you can finally make this work in a way that feels simple, sustainable, and eventually effortless. And when I say effortless, I actually mean that. I mean having weight loss feel like it's your second nature. And it does take effort to get there, but that's what I'm here for. I am here to guide you there. So today we're talking about your brain and how it hates weight loss. So what do I mean by that? What do I mean by your brain hates weight loss? Well, first let's talk about what your brain's job is in the first place. Your brain's main job, its first priority, is survival. That is first and foremost, your brain cares about your survival, and your brain interprets anything that you do that is new as potentially dangerous. What you've been doing this far has been keeping you alive, so your brain believes that keeping you the same equals safety. And this is why your brain follows familiar patterns and why it brings you back into old habits no matter how much you try to change them. This is exactly why it's so hard to stay consistent on a new diet when you try a new plan. It is so hard to be able to actually follow through consistently enough to actually get your results, but not just that, also keep them. This is why you can start off strong on a new plan, a new diet, but then eventually fall off. This is what has you saying, I'll start again tomorrow. This is what has you doing well all day, but then overeating at night. And it's because knowing what to do is not the same as being able to follow through consistently. Those are two separate things. You can know exactly what to do to lose weight, but still find yourself not following through. Most people think that the solution is more willpower. They think, I just need more willpower. You may have said this to yourself or heard other people say this. If I could just be stronger, if I could just try harder, if I could just get more willpower, I would be able to follow through. But the truth is that you can't out-willpower your survival brain. Your survival brain always eventually wins. And it's not to say that willpower is bad or wrong, it's just the wrong tool. Willpower is great for something that you have to do 1 or 2 times. It's great for emergencies, but as far as losing weight for good, it's just the wrong tool. Also, willpower is a limited resource. You only get a certain amount per day, which is why it's not reliable. It's nowhere to be found when you're stressed or overwhelmed. And this is why also you might find yourself saying or hear people say, once things slow down, I'll be able to lose weight. And that's because you know that when life is lifing, it's very, very hard to willpower your way through. But the good news is this is completely workable. You're not doomed just because your brain's default is to hate weight loss. What you actually need is to get your brain on board. Not by forcing it, but by learning how to work with your brain. I'm going to go over now 3 principles to get your brain on board. The first principle is making decisions ahead of time. What this does, when you make decisions ahead of time versus in the moment, you are using your higher brain. When you make decisions in the moment, you are using your survival brain. Your survival brain is what's going to go based on what's on default. It's going to follow your familiar patterns. But your higher brain, that's what's able to make decisions for your future self. That's the part of your brain that can delay gratification, whereas your survival brain wants the instant gratification. And this is a practice, especially if you are a busy person who is constantly in reactive mode when it comes to eating. When you wait until you're super hungry until you finally eat, that's when you don't make the best decisions for your future self. And it's only because your survival brain is the one that's in charge here. So the more that you can plan ahead, the more you can be intentional and make these decisions ahead of time, the easier time your brain will have to get on board. The next principle is eating in a way that reduces your cravings. You want to make it easy for your brain to follow your plan. And if your plan includes foods that are highly, highly craveable, it's going to be very hard to follow. You want the majority of your diet to be nourishing foods that don't create massive cravings. So, an example of this is reducing the amount of ultra processed foods that you eat. Many of these ultra processed foods are designed by scientists to make them highly craveable. They're designed to make you not feel satisfied and wanting more and more. And this is why the concept of calories in, calories out is not enough when it comes to lasting weight loss. Yes, ultimately you need to be in a calorie deficit in order to lose weight. But reducing your cravings is actually the easiest way to achieve that calorie deficit. Because when you don't have over cravings, then you have much less to manage mentally. You have much less to say no to. And it just makes the whole experience of weight loss so much simpler and so much easier when you're not constantly dealing with cravings. Lastly, the third principle is changing the way you think. This is changing your mindset. The way you think, your mindset, is at the root of your behavior. Our thoughts, our brains produce thoughts. Those thoughts create feelings, and those feelings drive our actions. So if we have a habit of overeating, it's coming from the way that we are thinking. I'll give you an example. You might have the thought at the end of a long day, I've been good all day, I deserve this. And that creates a feeling. Maybe it's relief, maybe excitement, and then you overeat at night. And that has nothing to do with not knowing what to do. It's just that your brain had a thought, and then your thought created a feeling, and then that feeling drove the action of overeating at night. So instead of just trying to change your actions, we look at what's creating them in the first place. And that's how we start to work with your brain. Otherwise, you're just trying to change your actions without even addressing your thoughts and feelings. And that's what makes it unable to stick. But when you actually address what you're thinking and feeling, that's when you're able to make the lasting change. So those are the three principles. 1 is making decisions ahead of time. 2 is reducing your cravings. And 3 is changing how you think. So if weight loss has been hard for you, you are truly not alone. Nothing has gone wrong. You just haven't learned before how to work with your brain to get your brain on board for weight loss. That's it for today's episode. I'm so happy that you're here, and I will see you next time. If you keep thinking, I know what to do, I'm just not doing it, start with my free training. It's called Why Knowing What to Do Isn't Enough for Lasting Weight Loss. You can watch it at loseitwithdori.com/free-training. And if you want personalized one-on-one support, you can book a free consult. Go to loseitwithdori.com and click book a free consult. Lastly, if you're enjoying this podcast, leaving a review helps more people find it, and I would so much appreciate it. I'm so glad you're here, and have an amazing week.